Jay Martinez with Fight Hub TV. I'm here with the WC Super Featherweight Champion, Oscar Valdez. How does that feel? Just saying that. How does that feel? Look at that smile on your face.
It's literally a dream come true. Being called a world champion, especially a WBC world champion, means the world to me because ever since I was 9 years old when I first started boxing, I dreamed of becoming a world champion in the organization of WBC. So now we finally made it. 30 years old, I'm finally a world champion. It took a long time, a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of hard work, but at the end of the day, it's worth it.
You said at 30 years old, you're making it sound like it's old. I'm turning 31 on Monday, 10 de Mayo, Dia de la Madre. So don't make it sound like we're old. Come on, man. We're in our prime. We're in our prime.
Middle prime.
Huge win. Miguel Berchet knocked him down, possibly the knockout of the year. Me personally, watching that fight, two Mexican warriors, it's always hard for me to choose two Mexican warriors because it's my blood, it's mi sangre, But after that spectacular knockout, what ran through your mind is just immense, thoughts, right?
I mean, once the knockout came, I didn't know he was. I didn't know he wasn't reacting that way. I knew the fight was over because I felt the punch. So I'm celebrating. I'm full of joy because finally we accomplished our dream. Like I said, it was a long time of sacrifice, hard work, being away from the family. All that together, just builds everything up. And finally, I took that off my chest. So I'm celebrating with my father. We're crying, we're smiling. There's a lot of emotions going through our heads. But definitely, it's a moment, one of the best moments of my life. At first, I got a little worried seeing that my opponent wasn't reacting because at the end of the day, we were just both fighters who want to win a fight, go back to our families, get a payday, and try to feed our families. So I got a little worried when he wasn't reacting. But eventually he got up and I went up to him and I hugged him, wishing him nothing but the best because Shakur Stevenson is a good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time already. And like I said, I just wish him nothing but the best. And now the path is we're looking for bigger and better things.
It's hard. It's really hard, extremely hard to get a championship belt, especially the one that you have. It's even harder retaining it. So now there's a lot of fights for you lined up. A lot of people calling you. Stevenson, Santa Cruz, Tank Davis. Jamel was here. Hearing you had the face-off. How does that feel? Who are you eyeing right now? I know you called Tank Davis. That's one of them.
I stick to the same game plan that I've always had. Try to fight the best. When when I mentioned him, everybody thought, what am I doing? I'm gonna get knocked out. Why am I going over the toughest fighter? And that's what I wanted. I wanted to go against the toughest fighter because I don't want to be in the future one day regretting saying I should have fought him in my prime. Who knows what would have happened? I should have done this, should have done that. So that's the same mentality that I have right now. Who's the best fighter at 130? What's the best fight for me, for the fans to watch? Because I consider myself number one. I will never train hard the same way I do to say I'm number two. So whoever the people think that the fight will be the best, if it's Gervonta Davis, if it's Jamel Herring, unifying the world title with Jamel Herring, or if it's Santa Cruz or Shakur Stevenson, or you got Joseph Diaz. There's a lot of great names out there. But for me, whatever the promoter company says, whatever Top Ranks tells me, I'm up for it. And the most reasonable fight right now will be Jamel Herring because we're both for Top Rank. I think it's an easy fight to make. So that's why we keep on mentioning someone like Jamel Herring. I saw him here today. Very respectful guy. That's also one thing that I admire about him. There's no need to push or do a lot of talking. I always do my fists. I always let my fists do my talking at the end of the night. So I have a lot of respect for all fighters. So if a fight is mentioned, just give me the contract and we'll sign it and we'll go back to training camp and fight.
You keep talking about I don't train to be number 2. I keep training to be number 1. Does that mentality grow even stronger being part of Adrian Reynoso's team? Quote unquote Canelo team? Did that grow?
Well, that's something that I've always had. I've always been a competitive person, and that's one of the reasons why we went with Adrian Reynoso, because we want to keep on improving, we want to keep on learning. In boxing, you never stop learning. So that's the reason why we went with Adrian Reynoso. And at first, it was a little boring. It was awkward at first because I wasn't adjusting. My first 2 fights weren't the best fights out there. But you start progressing, you start learning, things start coming out more naturally. And now people are seeing the results. We had faith in one trainer, and then now you can see the results.
Especially in your defense. I was amazed, especially with versus Burchell, how your defense, you look very slick. It's like all y'all have that little piece of Canelo make them dodge. It's not just staying there. So those little pieces.
Well, you learn from everybody, and also I'm the type of person who is not closed-minded. You can always learn from somebody. You can learn from somebody like Ryan Garcia. You can learn from Andy Reeves, from Rey Martinez, from Frank Sanchez, especially from Canelo Alvarez. He has a lot of experience out there. So every time I'm in the gym, I'm looking at the fighter and I try to learn the best of whatever he's doing. Or if I look at Andy, I try to look what the best he's doing. And when I'm in the ring with Canelo, he takes his time to go in the ring with me and show me a couple of things. Well, I really appreciate that, because there's always room for improvement in boxing. So I'm a great student. I go in the gym. I don't joke around. I don't talk. I just go in there to do what I have to do. Train for the 2 hours that we're there, and go back to sleep.
The results speak for themselves, Oscar. The results speak for themselves. I can't say anything more about that. But you were talking about your stablemates. Ryan Garcia. We recently heard about what happened. He was going to have a big matchup against Javier Fortuna. And he's had some personal problems that's going on. Have you talked to him, recently, or?
No, I haven't talked to him. I think we're giving him his space. I bet there's a lot of people asking him questions. Maybe a lot of people are joking around about it, but I think it's a very serious situation. Things that a lot of athletes go through, and they don't speak about it. They got basketball players, baseball players, football players, boxers. It's things that are completely normal. Anxiety, and it's a great moment for someone like Ryan Garcia, who has a big following, to speak about it in a certain way and give people awareness about what this is, because it's a serious situation. I think it's something to take very serious. It's not something to joke around or point fingers at him. I think I thought it was maybe something simple, like you get nervous over a fight, and then you start really realizing what anxiety is, and it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary hearing people talk about it, people's experience about anxiety, maybe committing suicide. So I think we should take it very seriously. I think we should give Ryan Garcia his space. I don't think he would turn down a big payday just because maybe he was scared. I truly believe. I see him train the same way he does. He's always training hard. He has a lot of energy. He's always up and down the gym, and he's scared to fight every time I talk to him, he shows that he's not scared to fight anybody.
Behind you, we see Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders. So we're here supporting your stablemate. What is your thoughts? We're just one day away, right? Almost hours away from just this big fight. It's one of the biggest fights for Canelo, right? What do you think about it?
I think if somebody has a chance to put his hands on Canelo, it would be someone like Billy Joe Saunders, because he's a very technical fighter. He uses well his legs. He has a good head movement, and he knows how to get into people's heads. But I was talking to Canelo yesterday, and I asked him a question. I told him, "What do you feel about him talking this way, or saying this or saying that? Does that get to your head? Because it's getting to my head. I'm getting frustrated. I can only imagine what's going on with you." And he looks at me very calm, smiles, very relaxed, and says, "I feel nothing. I'm gonna knock him out in the later rounds." And that just blew my mind, saying, "Wow, he's really focused." And there's only so much someone could take. If you got someone talking, doing things to you, playing around, it can get to some people's heads. But he's very focused. He has all the experience in the world. So I'm confident that he will do the necessary to win this fight.
What What is your thoughts, your personal view, your point of view of Canelo? This is his third fight in less than 6 months. Possibly might fight again in September. He's mentioned that he wants to fight again in December. I don't think that's heard of. We've never, it's rare to see a fighter like that in his prime fight that many times.
Well, not in these days, but back in the days, you would see Chavez fighting every 2 to 3 months. That was the thing to do back in the old school days. Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, they kept on fighting. That's why they have these great records of 87 fights or 100 and something fights. Nowadays, people they got a little famous fighting only 2 times a year, in May and in September. But Canelo's trying to change that again. And I admire it because you win a fight and you want to go back to your family, you want to maybe celebrate, you want to take some time off, do some business. I don't know, but Canelo's back in the gym training to fight again. So that's something that you gotta admire.
What is your prediction going on Saturday night? I know you've made some bold predictions on Saturday night.
My personal prediction, I think Canelo stops him in the late rounds. If I could say, I would pick 9 or 10. So if you guys trying to bet, put 9 or 10.
Bet the house? You want people to bet the house?
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Lastly, we're here in Texas. The stadium, you see it right across from you. Beautiful stadium. I want to say just because I'm a Cowboys fan and I grew up here, right?
It is a beautiful stadium.
It's a beautiful stadium. It's rumored to have at least 70,000 fans. It's still, we're in the pandemic. What do you think about that?
It's crazy to think there's 70,000 people in one spot. And I didn't even think about being a pandemic because I wasn't thinking about it, but it's even more crazy.
Because it's different in Mexico how they're treating than how they're treating here. I know that.
I'm being more vaccinated here. But it's just crazy to see records being broken. Records are meant to be broken, and I think Chavez has that record, and it would be great to see somebody break it. Or if not, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is there's 2 Mexicans who have that record.
You're saying that they're going to break a record. Because last time he had like 40 or 50. Now he might have around 70. So
that'll be pretty amazing to see. This will be history again.
Oscar, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for speaking with us, and looking forward to seeing you return to the ring. Hopefully soon.
Anytime. Yeah, hopefully, man. Can't wait to step in the ring again.
Thank you so much.